From beautiful downtown Lexington, Kentucky, it's Artie Facts, a student guide to generative AI. Here's Artie.
Thank you and welcome. You hear people talking about it constantly, but what is generative AI? Which is what people are usually talking about when they talk about AI in the classroom. Generative AI is a type of computerized artificial intelligence that assembles and produces content, like text, images, music, or code based on patterns it has learned from large sets of data and information. It doesn't think or understand like humans. Instead, it analyzes information to find patterns and create outputs based on what it has learned. To think of it another way, let's try a thought experiment about a chef. Imagine a brilliant chef who's read thousands of cookbooks. They don't memorize each recipe, but they learn patterns. Which ingredients work together, which techniques bring out the best flavors, and how to improvise, for instance. Now, imagine you're hosting a party. The chef can't be there, but they give you remote access to their brain and experience to help you make a meal for your friends. But here is an important question. Would you then serve that dish to your friends without tasting it first to make sure it came out like you wanted? I hope not. Think of our chef story. The chef's knowledge and experience can be put to great use very often, maybe even usually, but it doesn't mean there will never be an error or a misunderstanding. There is always a chance those errors will work their way into the foods you prepare. So as a good host, it is your job to check the chef brain's work. In the same way, AI can sometimes be way off, so it is important to check its work as well. But remember, we don't want a perfect AI. We want a helper that will help you say what you want to say, how you want to say it, and a million other helpful things. Think of how depressing it would be to turn over all of your will and creativity to a machine. Never take anything AI says or does at face value. Your role as a human capable of critical thinking is so important. Always corroborate and confirm. But of course this is true of all information from any source. No different here.
Okay, but how do we use it, eh?
I'm so glad you asked. Come on. In video number 3, we talk about when it's okay to use AI in a college classroom, because that tends to be a somewhat complicated question. But here, let's talk about how to use it. First, you should know that you do not need an app to use most AI tools. You can access them directly from an internet browser, including on your phone. No downloading required. There are too many tools to list them all here. But you can easily find lists of them on the internet, like this. The most popular tools are ones that help with writing and with creating images. These tools are not designed to regurgitate entire works of art or writing that was already created by humans. Instead, the tools analyze patterns, styles, and techniques from large datasets of existing words or images, similar to how the hypothetical chef learns about cooking. As you can imagine, use of this kind of AI is extremely controversial and a constant topic of discussion among passionate humans. I recommend seeking out writers, artists, and professionals in those fields for meaningful conversations about this important aspect of this evolving technology.
But what's it gonna cost me?
Most tools have a free version, with some limitations like the number of prompts a day. Some cost money, and some are free at certain levels, but cost money at other levels. But for most people's needs, the free versions are usually perfect.
I found a tool I want to try. Where do I begin?
Once you find a tool you think will be helpful, you usually interact with it by simply prompting it. A prompt is what you actually put into the computer to get results from AI. The clearer and more specific your prompt, the better the output. Now, to make all of this a bit more concrete, let's end by taking a look at some of the most popular AI tools out there. We will specifically focus on words and images. Here we go. Well, folks, that's all we have time for right now. But as you can see, generative AI has a lot of promise, and also a lot of potential pitfalls and problems. But these things we know for sure. It is powerful, and it seems to be here to stay, both in college and in the workplace, and even in our daily lives. What better place to learn correct, ethical, responsible use of AI than the college classroom, which is essentially a laboratory for learning and thinking. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you will check out the other videos in this series. Until next time, happy prompting. This is Artie saying, so long for now.